ahead and record this and upload it for later. So hello, I am going to go ahead and demonstrate how to set up a Python virtual environment using Python. And I apologize for the stream not working yesterday. It looks like I'm going to have to record and upload this in segments until I learn how to do this better, and perhaps until I get better bandwidth. So to start off, let's talk a little bit about PyEnv. PyEnv is a tool for managing and installing different Python versions and Python virtual environments. You can see I have PyEnv installed here. I'll show you how you can install it on most any system. So first thing, let's go ahead and look at PyEnv. You can go to PyEnv, just search Google or Bing or whatever you choose. It's on GitHub, PyEnv, Py, shows how to install it. On Mac, which I'm not today, long story, you can just type brew install PyEnv. So if this were a Mac, I would just type brew install PyEnv. And this might work if I install brew on Linux. Kind of flaky on Linux. I'm excited that it's working. I don't trust it yet. But on a Mac, brew install PyEnv will give you PyEnv, and then you can get started. Windows, it's a little trickier. There's WinPyEnv, and I'll show you here. Let's go back. Okay, it looks like my network settings, my streaming is interfering with my network. So let me back now that I've got it loaded. So PyEnv, here's the GitHub repository, the project page for PyEnv. You go ahead and install PyEnv. Jump ahead to installation. Alright, so first thing you can do brew install PyEnv. Next thing you can do, you can just check it out from GitHub and go. On Windows, there's PyEnv Win. I'm not going to go there since it doesn't help me, but you can check that out. Then there's also the PyEnv installer shell script. Works most of the time. Now, my system, I ran into a little bit of trouble on this Linux system. On Mac, worked without a hiccup. But on this system, what I had to do was what it does is it installs PyEnv in the .pyenv directory, right? So under .pyenv, so home directory / .pyenv /bin, there is the executable. So I can run this here and I can do PyEnv versions, and it will show me no Python versions installed on this system. Do virtual environments or whatever. So what I need to do is I need to initialize. Now I have a shell script that shows me how to do this. I got this work installed Jython, Miniconda, Anaconda. Okay, so it looks like 2 is the latest version available through PyEnv. So PyEnv install 3.8.2. I'll go through this. And this is going to be boring for a second. Let's skip ahead past that in the recording, so feel free to do that. In the meantime, while that's loading, I already have a new version of Python installed. What I'm going to show is I can add to my bash profile or whatever how I can source this PyEnv setup in my directory. So you can see this is here, this is the path, and then does the PyEnv init. So now I can do PyEnv virtual env. That will and it shows none, but I can create one. Here's the help options. So PyEnv virtual env, I can specify various options such as forced, and then I specify the version of Python I want to use, and then the virtual environment name would be 3.8.2, and the virtual env name will be whatever we want. In my case, I'm going to call it Selenium Python. Okay, let's see. Build failed. That's not fun at all. create. Alright, so I found here, I don't know why it's doing that. Common problem with the issue, or with the install. So installing Python, the build's failing. It's not finding bzip, readline, and OpenSSL. So it said go to common problems, and so that's what I did. And it says to install all these. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. And go back to here. Didn't copy. You copy. So I'm going to just grab all of these. I don't know why it's in there. My fingers don't know what to do. So we've got build essential, that's the compiler, SSL dev, zlib version 1g, I guess, development, lib bzip2 dev, lib readline dev, lib SQLite 3, SQLite, wget curl llvm, the linker, lib ncurses, that's making interactive console interfaces, and dev, xzutils, zip libraries, tk dev, tk is the K, TCL TK GUI toolkit, lib ffi, not sure what that is, lib lzubuntu.com, bin format support, maybe install with apt-get fix missing. Fortunately, is the reality of working with Linux that you go down this rabbit hole of errors, and some of them are random, some of the work here. So I'm going to try this. And I'm just going to follow their directions. If I can remember the right command to get to the start of the line on this. Alright, so I have PyEnv installed, I have PyEnv working, and I have the latest version of Python 3.8.2 installed through PyEnv. So you can see here I have PyEnv. It's and I ran PyEnv init by sourcing this command. So I created this little script. I add the .pyenv/bin to my path, so it's an executable my shell recognizes, to a PyEnv init within this interpolation as a string. And I can press the right keys. I'll quit that, and I can source here. I have this here in my bash profile, and you can see I source this PyEnv, which executes that shell script and sets the environment variables set from it. So it's here. So now I have PyEnv set up. Now I did PyEnv install 3.8.2, and it already exists. So I'm going to click no. Installed. We're happy with that. And now I can do things like pip install. So I am back to streaming again. Alright, so it turns out that yeah, it's like nobody even uses Linux. Anyway, so IPython, it's installed, but it doesn't get added to the path. And so I'm creating this alias to python-m capital I Python, which tells Python to execute this module. So now when I type IPython, I get my shell. Let's go ahead and add this to my bash profile. Well, now I've downloaded and extracted Gecko driver and essentially unzipped with tar-x. Now I have Gecko driver installed in user local bin, and when I start Gecko driver, it's in my path, which is what it was complaining about before. So Gecko driver sits there. It's listening on some port, I assume. All right. Port default is 4444. All right. Anyway, we'll hop back over here to our. We will run IPython, and now from Selenium import WebDriver, and then driver equals WebDriver Firefox with a capital F, and if it finds Gecko driver, it should launch a browser. Good sign, it hasn't crashed yet. YouTube is happy. My stream sucks. It doesn't stream. My browser does not launch. It doesn't. Will it launch? Will it give me an error? It launched Firefox. Alright, so now I have Firefox running. I'm going to keep down. I don't know what that beep means. If you're going to beep at me, provide information. Alright, so now I've got my browser. It's kind of hidden behind. Now I can do things like driver.get, yes, oneshore.com, and Python will tell the browser to do it. Alright, so I finally got it working. I set up a virtual env. I installed Python 3.8.2 using PyEnv, and within that virtual env I used pip install Selenium, and then I installed IPython. That was an adventure in its own right. I had to create an alias to launch and then finally I have IPython installed. I have the correct version of Python installed. I have Selenium installed. I can't stream and pretty much do anything with the internet at the same time, but finally, after much frustration, I have been able to launch Selenium. Oh, the last step was installing the Gecko driver, which surprisingly was very straightforward. Download the binary, place it in user local